Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. It's been a few days. I was out traveling, visiting my brother-in-law. Had a good time, but I'm trying to get back on track here, and there's a lot of great stuff that I've been missing. And some of the stuff I'm going to cover in this video, some of you probably already have heard, but I just kind of want to have a conversation and kind of give my thoughts and insight on kind of what's been happening. So I'm going to just jump into the content here. Currently sitting on CoinGecko, we're currently sitting at just over $1 trillion market cap, sitting at $1.05 trillion market cap, currently down 0.5%. As you can see, Bitcoin dropped down. I think we hit just below 25,000. Now we're currently sitting at 21,225. Ethereum sitting at 1590, and the XRP sitting at 34 cents. When we had a high, I think of like 38, 39 cents. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're out of the neutral range now. We're back in the fear range at 27. We're going to have an update here in 22 hours and 5 minutes. But, back in this fear range, and we're going to kind of see, how the next few days, this weekend and the next couple of weeks go in regards of, potentially having some true turnaround within our market. There's been a lot of opposing sentiment within the industry of the people that I follow, the TA guys, the fundamental people, and just market sentiment in general. Of like, some people say we need to go lower, create new lows. Some people say we might go lower, but then we're not going to create a new low. Our bottom is in. So who knows what the truth is? Coming in here, James K. finally had some updates on the 19th. It says Ripple defendants have filed a letter proposing narrowly tailored redactions to a limited number of exhibits to the briefs filed by the parties in opposition to the motions to exclude expert testimony. So then he puts in all this stuff, all these document Snapchats here or screenshots here, so you can come in here and check it out. Then he has another one here. Says the SEC has filed a letter requesting to seal portions of the parties' oppositions to the exclusion motions that contain information identity, the SEC's expert witnesses, in the personal financial information of one of the SEC's experts. And the XRP crypto was says SEC is the SEC is annoying as F. Fred Rispoli says, quote, the personal financial information of the one of the SEC's experts most likely means the inordinate amount of money the expert receives from being the SEC's go-to hired gun. B, the amount of money the expert has made in the crypto, and C, the expert's crypto holdings. Yeah, it's just shady and dumb, and we all know it's just they're doing anything in their power to have some sort of leverage or some sort of power within this litigation, even though they're completely backed into the corner, cowering down with their butts straight in the air. It's crazy. Jeremy Hogan's responding to JXRP here. He goes, I would be interested to know how the SEC lawyers or the SEC would be punished if they do not produce the emails in order of the judge. Is there is there a fine that could the lawyers be losing, or he's saying could there be fines or some sort of ruling of these lawyers losing their license? And then Jeremy Hogan says refusal to comply would or could eventually dismissal of the case. It could also be a license problem, but only if the attorneys themselves withheld the docs, and that wouldn't be the case. There was something else I wanted to see in here. So they were talking about what's going to happen if the case, this is Michelle here, and we've been talking about this within the community, like what happens if there is a dismissal and there isn't no true like written documentation litigation in regards of clarity for XRP? Like what does that mean, in a going forward process? How does that not only affect Ripple and XRP, but how does that affect the entire industry in regards of, the SEC's regulation by enforcement? Curious. I'm wondering almost if like the SEC knows that that's potentially an option. Maybe that's an option. Like, hey, if this is a dismissal, they're not going to get the clarity they need. Who knows? I'm sure there's going to be some sort of settlement. Especially once I think it's Judge Torres pretty much solidifies that, hey, you need to produce those documents. We'll see. It's just kind of a waiting game, but just kind of this been speculation and conversation based on the information we have within litigation. Coming over here, the digital asset investor says this is 1,000% false. So this is Hester Peirce here. The market has not determined Bitcoin and Ethereum are the best digital assets. The SEC and Bill Hemmon's BTC and ETH free pass speech have formed the current crypto market in this one big lie. So let's listen in to what Hester Peirce says right here.
Now, again, it'll be the market that ultimately decides which of these projects has something that is of lasting value and which don't. And that's something that I think we'll see play out over time.
So there's been a lot of dialogue and communications that's been happening within, the XRP community in general. This is Hester Peirce, which, she was coined the name Crypto Mom, but people in the industry, and especially in the XRP army, is like, it's been a lot of words. There's really no action. Why aren't you whistleblowing? Why aren't you stepping up and doing more than just your words? Who knows what, her motive and agendas that she has, or, what's being held over her head. Who knows what's going on with Hester Peirce? But the point is, it's like, a lot of the community members are getting to the point where it's like, okay, we're tired of words. We need action. Why is it Johnny Deaton in the class action lawsuit of, I think it was like over 72,000 members, and Jason Foster and Empower Oversight, and Fred Rispoli, and James K. Fallon, and the rest of the XRP community, digital asset investor, and so on? Like, why is it these Twitter sleuths and these YouTubers and, very few people that actually have legal background really truly fighting the good fight? And you even have like congressmen and women aren't, opening this investigation when it comes to this conflicts of interest with Bill Hinman and his Ethereum Free Pass speech, and his involvement with Simpson Thacher and their involvement with Ethereum. Like, we're tired of just words. We need actions. It's almost like that person sitting on the sideline while you're getting your butt kicked by the bully, just kind of trying to encourage you on, and, maybe, saying some hurtful words about that bully that's kicking your butt. No, it's not. It's time to stop talking. It's time to jump in and help. So that's kind of been a lot of the conversation that's been happening. A digital asset investor puts up another one here. This is JV, JV shouting out Tony from Thinking Crypto. He did a great job in his interview that he had with Hester Peirce and Congressman Tom Emmer. But digital asset investor says, she knows we have the video, we have the timeline, and the facts are not in dispute. There's only one way out. The truth will set you free. And we've been saying that on this channel since the inception of this channel of January of 2022. We've been talking about that. It's like, it's not in dispute. All of this stuff is an unfounded speculation that this community has pieced together. This is literally the shady actors, in their own words, them on documentation, them on video footage, literally shooting themselves in the foot. And we just kind of piece together the dots as a community. And obviously there's more highly involved community members that's done a lot of the great work. But the whole point is we're all putting a general and cohesive effort to spread this word and put out the true narrative, not the narrative that, these powers that be and these shady actors are trying to, implement and put into the, crypto, pretty much put it into the crypto sphere, in the crypto space. This whole ETHgate stuff and this whole Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only ones. It's like, nah, that's just not the truth. But we're going to listen into this of Tony and Hester Peirce talking here.
I have to ask you some questions around Ethereum and one of your former colleagues, Bill Hinman, and this may be awkward, but I have to ask because there has been certain information released through the Ripple case, even FOIA requests from Empower Oversight, which is a nonprofit whistleblower organization. So there are sayings that the ethics department in the SEC warned Bill Hinman about conversations with Simpson Thacher, who is part of the Ethereum Alliance. Bill Hinman gave a speech about Ethereum saying it's not a security. Jay Clayton, Commissioner Jackson, a bunch of folks endorsed that speech and have publicly referenced it as a kind of a standard. I want to, I don't know what you can say about this, but I want to get your thoughts. And the public is feeling a lack of confidence in the SEC as a result of these details.
So FOIA requests come in all the time, and they're handled. We have rules and processes around the way they're handled, and so that these FOIA requests you're talking about will be handled according to those same rules and processes, and that's typically how people can get information about what agencies are doing. They use FOIA requests all the time.
Are you able to comment on any of the potential ethics concerns and potential conflicts of interest around?
I can't comment.
Okay.
So as frustrating as that is, I mean, we don't know what's going on with Hester Peirce. We don't know why she can't say anything. We don't know if she's in some sort of NDAs and all these things. I mean, obviously there's something. It's almost silly to think that there's nothing else that she can do, but we really don't know all the ins and outs. But it's just frustrating that these are representatives that's supposed to be there for us. They're supposed to answer to us, like and be supportive of us. But it's like I feel like outside of just she has great words, but it's like, okay, what else? We need more. This is crazy. I think Johnny Deaton. Okay, yeah, I'm going to cover these next two clips, or these next few clips right here. So this is from Digital Asset Investor as well. It says, just imagine how pissed she is at Clayton and Hinman and Gensler for putting her in this position. I don't blame her. She should be pissed for the sake of this country. So let's listen into this really quick, and shout out Tony from Thinking Crypto. If you haven't subscribed to his YouTube channel, check him out. He always puts up great content, great information, covering what's going on in the industry. It's huge. He does a great job. But shout out Tony for this one. Let's listen into this.
Have asked me to check with you, and this is an awkward question to ask. Is there anything that you're aware of that happened with the SEC that you could be a whistleblower to?
I just can't comment on that question.
I mean, I know that was tough, definitely to say. I know for me in particular, I'd be like, all right, here we go. This is kind of cringe, but boom. Shout out Tony. It's great, great interview. He does great work for his channels. Some high level interviews that he does. They're great stuff, Tony. Coming over here, Digital Asset Investor puts this one up with Tom Emmer and Tony from Thinking Crypto as well. But I want to make sure I did this right. Right here. So responding to what Digital Asset Investor said in regards of, Hester Peirce saying that I just can't comment on being a whistleblower and kind of what's going on with this stuff. Johnny Deaton says, he's responding to Digital Asset Investor. Here he goes. Nothing is stopping Hester Peirce or anyone from saying, quote, I'm not suggesting that anyone did anything wrong, but no harm can come from the investigation to conflicts. And if laws were broken or mistakes were made, we can learn from it and help prevent it from happening again, unquote. Johnny Dean continues. He says, I saw the other clip of Hester Peirce saying she couldn't comment, but months ago before Empower Oversight got the Hinman ethics emails, Hester did not comment that she always found Hinman and Clayton to be ethical. But now that it has been proven that Hinman wasn't, she can't comment. And that's true. It's like, okay, you can say the other, but not this time. Why? What's changed? What's happened? He continues, I've praised Commissioner Peirce for over 2 years. I've applauded her for speaking out in disagreement with Clayton and Gary Gensler regarding the lack of clarity within the digital asset space. So that's kind of what we're talking about, her being coined crypto mom and, saying these good things and being like truly almost being in the corner of this space and the investors in this space. He continues, I've cited her previous interview with Thinking Crypto and my motions before the court. I stand by all the praise I and others have given her. Compared to Clayton, she had much more foresight. Compared to Gensler, she is a saint. But make no mistake about it, there is nothing legally or ethically preventing her or anyone from saying they support an investigation. And he concludes with this. If she was able to say she always found Clayton and Hinman ethical in her dealings, she could easily acknowledge that Hinman meeting his partners after being told to stop by SEC ethics looks bad. His firm being a member of the EEA, so the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, also looks bad and supports an investigation. I mean, he's if this is what Johnny Deaton's saying in regards of law, I mean, yeah, what's keeping her from saying anything? Why not? You could say the flip side, but you can't say, now that you know what you know, or now that it's brought out there, maybe you already knew, but maybe now that it's out there, you can't say like, hey, I'm in support of this, that's wrongdoing. Who knows what's going on with Hester Peirce? Who knows, what's being held over her head? We don't know. Just kind of a waiting game to see kind of, what happens. And quite honestly, we got to just keep fighting the good fight and do what we can and do our part within this community. Keep retweeting stuff, keep researching, keep surfacing stuff, and just support one another in this shady time that we're dealing with in the crypto space, especially XRP and Ripple holders. Over here, Digital Asset Investors put up this Tom Emmer one and Tony one for Thinking Crypto as well. It's a great little 2-minute, 34-second clip that I'm going to play, but it says, quote, we will be very aggressive in our oversight. And by the way, making sure we hold them accountable once we confirm that we know they're doing. And that's from Congressman Tom Emmer, Representative Tom Emmer. If I'm Bill Hinman in the ETHgate crew, I'm on the phone with my lawyer. That's what Digital Asset Investor says. Let's listen into this.
Congressman Emmer, there have been some information that has been released via FOIA requests from Empower Oversight, which is a nonprofit whistleblower organization, and even through the Ripple lawsuit around Ethereum and ethics violations, potential conflicts of interest with specifically Bill Hinman, who is no longer at the SEC. And I don't want to say potential, because none of these things have been formally confirmed and so forth. And this has caused people to lose confidence in the SEC. And I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but there's hundreds of thousands of people very upset, and it's just getting kind of toxic. And some are asking, they wanted me to ask you, can you call for an investigation into such potential conflicts of interest? And how do we get the SEC to restore the confidence back in the public?
Well, first off, you're touching the edges of this, which I really appreciate, because you didn't ask it directly. But the issues that you're talking about, right, with the Ripple lawsuit, because they're related, we really can't. We shouldn't. I suppose I could, but we should not comment on the ongoing lawsuit. But I would say to you that going back to what I brought up, the reality is right now Biden's regulators are acting lawlessly because Democrats in Congress who hold the gavels will not exercise their oversight responsibility over the very regulators they confirm. And so I will just emphasize again, Tony, when Republicans take back the majority, nothing will stop us from fulfilling our responsibility to act as a check on the executive branch. And I told this to Gary Gensler's enforcement director. A new day is coming. So those listeners, those that you work with that are wondering what we'll do, that's about as direct as I want to get related to the specifics that you just brought up. We will be very aggressive in our oversight. And by the way, making sure that we hold them accountable once we confirm what we know they're doing. That's why I refer to it as the Wild West of regulators, the Wild, Wild West of regulation.
Be very aggressive in their oversight and hold them accountable once we confirm what they are doing. Let's go. Keep applying that pressure. I love to hear it. I'm excited to see how things turn out, as things progress. We'll see. This is from Johnny Deaton. And so this was the 17th. This was a big deal. And I was so upset that I was traveling and I couldn't really speak on it. But now I'm going to have the conversation and bring this up. But obviously, Vitalik Buterin had made a tweet that was probably the most scumbag thing that you could possibly do in this space when we're supposed to have, obviously there's just people that's going to have certain projects that they love, like, whatever, dislike, but we have to realize that we're on the same team within this space, and to kick, a fellow project or brother, sister while they're down is scumbagish. And he put up this tweet that says, XRP already lost their right to protection when they tried to throw, XRP already lost their right to protection when they tried to throw us under the bus as quote unquote China controlled, in my opinion. So Johnny Deaton, I don't know the ins and outs of what happened after this. I haven't even checked up on whether he had, respond to what's been happening from this tweet, the conversation that's been happening. But Johnny Deaton put up this great thread that I want to cover. It's a little extensive, but I'm going to try to get through it as quick as possible because I think it's powerful. Johnny Deaton goes, "Dear Vitalik Buterin, the more I think about your shameful and disgusting comment, and considering you haven't deleted or clarified it, I realize you didn't misspeak. This was an immature, hateful comment directed at a community of innocent digital asset holders and not Ripple." Let me zoom in so you all see this. "Many people will not pay your comment much attention, but for those of us who've been exhaustingly fighting tribalism and believe in multi-chain world of interoperability, your comments are truly demoralizing. If you would have said Ripple lost its right to protection, I wouldn't comment, whether I agree with it or not. Ripple can defend itself. But even quite possibly Ripple's biggest critic, let me make sure I get this right here, Ryan Selkis, has recognized the SEC's overreach and has stated his hopes Ripple's defeats the SEC. In fact, Ryan will be having a fireside chat with Braggon House next month. Many people will ignore or excuse your XRP comment. I won't. I have thousands of emails from people who are devastated financially. I'm saying that because it's so true. My family and myself, in our investment in XRP in particular, like, we had plans, we had things in the works. You know, we weren't completely obliterated because we had the ability to hold strong and continue to accumulate, and we have faith in belief in the utility and use case between Ripple and XRP and what it can do for the world. But there's been families out there that lost everything. That was, you know, out of fear, sold everything. There's people that's taken their lives, and we're going to continue on. This is what he says. He says, thousands of emails from people who were devastated financially when the SEC alleged that XRP is a security no matter who sells it. Maybe it was stupid for those people to be using high leverage, but we know even so-called smart people like Three Arrows Capital, which completely went under, used leverage and got wiped out. And if you get wiped out because of the market, that's one thing. Getting wiped out because of government intrusion and overreach is another. Facts. Getting wiped out because of the market is one thing, but to get wiped out because of government intrusion and overreach, that's shady behavior, man. That's just wrong, especially for the sector of the government that's supposed to be there for the so-called investors. Crazy. Investor protection, what? Johnny Dean continues, just like any other crypto community, XRP has some holders who may be overly hostile. True. I mean, every community does. But like most communities, it is made up of hardworking, regular people who seek financial freedom for a better life. Your XRP comment is a slap in their faces. Absolutely it is. Maybe you could read emails from January and February 2021. Some people wrote about suicide. Really let that sink in. There's people that really wrote about suicide. Who knows how many people took their lives? Who knows? He continues, I have people in the U.S. who have their entire life savings wrapped up in XRP in a retirement account. So when you say, quote, XRP lost their right to protection, unquote, you insult all of them. I thought your vision was to help people. But they don't deserve protection because they chose XRP and not ETH? What about ETH holders who also own XRP? Do their assets only deserve half the protection? You would think as a founder who's on video saying he chose Switzerland to specifically avoid U.S. regulations from the SEC would have more grace. You would think being on video describing to perfection your ICO being an illegal securities offering, you would be less judgmental. Considering that when you described ETH's ICO, you insisted it would be, quote unquote, an opportunity for anyone to purchase Ether, which you said was, quote, currency inside the Ethereum system, sort of like XRP and Ripple. Vitalik, you literally compared ETH to XRP. Genius. So yeah, that's in this video. We're not going to play this video because we played it on this channel, but it's literally how he says, just like XRP in the Ripple ecosystem, he says Ether. He's saying Ether in the Ethereum system, and he says just like XRP in the Ripple system type thing. Let me go ahead and play it. Actually, it's actually pretty good. We need to hear it.
Right. So it's not the launch that we have. So we are going to start the Ether pre-sale in a couple of weeks. So the Ether pre-sale will be an opportunity for anyone to purchase Ether. For Ether is the internal currency inside of the Ethereum system, sort of like the XRP and Ripple.
Now, is there a big window of opportunity?
So I just wanted to play and make sure I didn't say it wrong. But we're going to continue on here. Johnny Dean continues, he says, You would think that since you're on video with Joseph Lubin saying you knew Ethereum wouldn't scale, and you would have to upgrade and merge the network over years, which, by the way, sounds a bit centralized. You would resist the IOC of, I'm terrible with that word, of saying XRP lost its right to protection. So we played this video as well, and they're pretty much talking about how it was a demo, and we knew it wasn't going to work, but we had to put it out there, and pretty much they're talking about how gravitating towards this new system and getting it to scale over time, which is crazy. You're calling it a demo. This is crazy. That's who got the free pass, a demo. That actually held an ICO, but they went after Ripple and XRP. Johnny D continues. You would think that since your co-founders are on audio describing how to disguise multiple well purchases of the ICO, saying, quote, that C is a tough thing, and that, quote, we don't have to be careful. When talking about Ethereum IPO, you would maybe not take shots at XRP holders. You would think since a co-founder said, quote, we may limit the size of the units, unit size of the sale just to make it easier to disguise. For investors who want some privacy and are planning on investing several million US worth, then you can do that in multiple identities. So he's pretty much saying when Joseph Lubin was on audio saying you can develop or you can create multiple identities through multiple emails and buying at, instead of buying one big lump sum and being like a red target on the radar, you could buy certain portions of your allocations and kind of disguise it that way. Crazy stuff. And that's Joe Lubin from Consensus that we just showed up here. That's Joe Lubin, and that's Vitalik Buterin there. Coming out here, Johnny Dean continues. You would think so because Ethereum, quote, won't be requiring a real-world identity for sales of Ether. We can create a pseudonymous, oh, there we go. He goes, quote, we can create a pseudonymous email identity on purchasing. And for Wells, anyone, quote, planning on investing several millions of dollars worth. So here goes the audio. We've played it multiple times on this channel. You can come to this thread from Johnny Dean and check out all these videos and stuff. I'm just going to try to fly through this. You would expect less judgment when your ICO's architect, and this is Steven Nerioff, said that Ethereum's lawyers told him that they had an quote-unquote illegal securities offering. He then said that, he was charged with a very simple thing: raise money and not go to prison. It's crazy. And this is right here on video. It's crazy. Johnny Dean continues. You would think you would be less judgmental when all of your co-founders fear going to prison. And Lubin said, quote, we thought it was possible we would land at JFK on a certain day and the FBI would tackle us to the tarmac. But Joe wasn't the only founder scared of jail, was he? And then he puts up this stuff here. You can come check out all this stuff. He continues. Finally, the universe expects more grace from you when 9 days before the Him and Free Pass speech, Gary Gensler said, quote, there's a strong legal case that Ether is a security. Quote, they were careful, they were clever, but they still, I think, were a duck and waddles and quacks like a duck. So we showed that when Chairman Gensler was at MIT and he was giving the speech, that's what he said, and he did believe that Ethereum was a security. He says it fit the Howey test, is what he says. And then he ends here. So, with that said, young man, on behalf of 72,000 XRP holders, I say be a good duck and quack off. Shout out Johnny Dean, man, one of the true leaders of this community. It's absolutely massive. And it's not just the XRP community. It's the crypto community. He's here for the entire space. He saw wrongdoing. He saw that there was a void that needed to be filled, and he stepped up. And luckily, all of us that are part of the class action lawsuit, all of us putting out content and liking, retweeting, sharing, doing everything in our power to fight the good fight, we're all part of that. We're all on this rocket together, and we're just waiting to lift off and to be free from the shackles of this overreaching and overbearing, regulation by enforcement government. Shout out Johnny D, and that's huge, man. Digital Asset Investor says XRP doesn't need a merge. Well, clearly it's a shot at Ethereum. Ethereum's going to, their whole Ethereum 2.0, or they're merging from proof of work to proof of stake. There's been a lot of conversation that's been going on lately of just like how Ethereum's merge to proof of stake can be catastrophic. And there's some audio footage that had just recently come out that, who said it? Altcoin Daily. Let me see if I can find it while we're here. Altcoin Daily. I think I retweeted it actually. Let me go to my profile here. Altcoin Daily. Make sure. Did I do it? Yeah, right here. So Altcoin Daily. Go to Altcoin Daily's YouTube channel or go to their Twitter feed here and listen to this YouTube video. It says ETH leaked audio. Ethereum holders can't believe this is happening. Check it out. This is from Brad Goldhouse. So obviously, if you've been paying attention, you know that this TravelX Bank stuff happened. It says, it's been a long time coming. Working through the regulatory process takes time. It's worth it. But I'm absolutely ecstatic to be in this Sao Paulo as ODL with XRP launches with one of the biggest FX providers in Brazil. Look at that stud. There's a lot of great stuff happening, a lot of things in motion. And I want to end on these two things because there's been these, let me put Jungle Eeks first. There's been these comments that I've been seeing going around. I saw Jungle Eek post it, and I kind of started coming through the tweet threads, and I noticed that it's almost like a copy and paste thing going on. And I don't know what is going on, but I know there's been a lot of dialogue in regards of people's concern about Ethereum, especially when it comes to this merge. Jungle Inc., somebody I highly value in his words and, his sentiment on the market and what's going on with the Ripple case and just the crypto space in general, says, I've been following Ethereum closely. Vitalik, let me zoom in. I've been following Ethereum closely. Vitalik and the early insiders continue to change the rules and modify the code. Now some are threatening to abandon the project altogether in the face of the government intervention. I'm not waiting any longer today. I am selling all my ETH. And this was on almost at midnight on August 19th. And then it's interesting because Mike Alfred, someone screen captured it right here, and it says the same thing. So I'm curious, and I'm gonna keep reading all this stuff, but I'm noticing, there's been multiple, almost in a sense, copy and pastes of that stuff. And then I come over here, Stefan Huber, somebody else that I follow that I value. Stefan Huber goes, I've been following Ethereum closely. Vitalik and the early insiders continued to change the rules and modify the code. Now some are threatening to abandon their project altogether in the face of the government intervention. I'm not waiting any longer. A year ago, I sold all my Ethereum. So he kind of threw in, he threw in a different sentence at the end. A year ago, I sold all my Ethereum. And someone was down here, was like, with all respect, Stefan, or Stefan, we call him Stefan Huber, reading exactly the same message from various different people. All influencers were told to copy and paste it, social media, and he goes, haha, no, look at my last sentence. So I don't know what's going on, but I know that with that audio stuff that right here, that Altcoin Daily had put on their YouTube video right here. You go in and listen to that, and things are kind of starting to be like, what's going on here, man? Things are kind of getting weird. So I don't know. I'm just going to continue to follow this and kind of see what comes out about it within the community. But that's the update I have for you. 30-minute video. I think this is my longest video. One of my longest videos. A lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about. There's a lot of great information going out there. A lot of soldiers out there putting their boots on the ground, fighting the good fight. And you're one of them. Even you being here, watching this video and liking it, it goes a long way. We got to spread this message, to spread this shady stuff, this conflicts of interest, and this stranglehold on the crypto space, because this space is the future. Crypto is the future. So we need everything. We need to do everything in our power to protect that and protect our investment and protect the space so it can flourish and not be hindered and stifled in its innovation. This is huge. With all that being said, make sure you come and subscribe to the Crypto's Key Conversation YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at CryptoIsKey1. Really appreciate your support. Excited to keep bringing you content and grow our community here. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.